Good morning, dear participants. Prasanna ma'am. Prasanna ma'am, am I audible? Ma'am, you are visible, but you are not audible. Ma'am, please sign out and sign in again. Am I audible? We cannot hear you, ma'am. Please unmute yourself, ma'am. Wait. Yes, ma'am. Please speak.
Yes, sir. Shall I start my
Yes.
presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Wait a
Okay.
minute. Wait. Please
Yeah.
wait. Good morning, dear participants. Welcome to fourth day of online national level training program on network pharmacology. Past 3 days were very fruitful. We have learned a lot of things about network pharmacology. All the three resource persons have given enough inputs for you to understand the basic concepts of network pharmacology. Today, we have with us a renowned speaker, Prasanna Kumari ma'am, who is very much experienced in network pharmacology, and she is going to take you into a new world of network pharmacology and how we can explore traditional medicine through network pharmacology. Let me take a minute to invite Dr. Sushil Narkade sir, Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Sandeep University, to introduce today's resource person.
Hello and good morning to one and all present over here. I am Dr. Sushil Prabhakar Narkhede, Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Nasik. I heartily welcomes you for the day 4 session of 1 week National e-training program on integrating network pharmacology with traditional and modern system of medicine, bridging multi-system therapeutics for holistic healthcare. We are privileged to welcome Dr. VVS Prasanna Kumari Raila, an accomplished scholar and researcher in pharmaceutical analysis and bioanalysis, as a resource person for this 1 week training program on network pharmacology. Dr. Raila is currently pursuing her PhD in pharmaceutical analysis at the prestigious National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, NIPER, Guwahati, focusing on enantioselective in vivo pharmacokinetics, in silico and in vitro studies of chiral drugs. Dr. Raila's academic journey includes an MPharm in pharmaceutical analysis and quality assurance from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Kakinada, where her thesis on stability indicating method development showed her analytical prose. She also holds a BPharm degree from Nirmala College of Pharmacy, during which she explored prescribing patterns among diabetic patients, demonstrating her keen interest in applied research. Her professional career includes a remarkable tenure as a junior research associate at Suven Life Sciences, where she gained hands-on experience in analytical method development, bioanalytical validation, and pharmacokinetic studies. She is proficient in handling advanced technique, including LC-MS system, and is skilled in network pharmacology tools, molecular docking, and metabolomics. An accomplished academician, Dr. Raila has authored numerous publications in high-impact journals addressing topics such as drug-drug interaction, chiral pharmacokinetics, and bioanalytical advancements. She has been recognized with awards for her contribution, including a first prize for oral poster presentation at international conference. Additionally, she is a lifetime member of Chemical Research Society of India. With her extensive expertise in pharmacokinetics, bioanalytical method development, and network pharmacology, Dr. Raila brings a wealth of knowledge and insights to this training session. We are eager to learn from her in-depth session and benefit from her expert guidance in advancing our understanding of network pharmacology. Now, with this beautiful introduction, I request Dr. Prasanna Kumari Madam to proceed for further session. Madam, please.
Sure, sir. Is my voice audible, sir?
Yes, madam, yes.
Okay, I'll just share my presentation.
Okay, yeah. Now you can share, madam, your presentation.
Okay, sir. Just a minute, sir. I'm just having an issue sharing.
Sure, ma'am, sure.
Yeah, madam.
Yeah.
Sir, I have got a message like the host isn't allowing multiple presenter sharing for this meeting.
You are already host, ma'am.
Okay.
1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute.
Uh-huh.
Please try now, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Now it's okay. So, can you see my
Yes, ma'am.
presentation, sir?
Visible.
Yeah.
Visible.
Okay.
Please maximize it.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Now perfect.
Okay, sir. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the great introduction, sir. Welcome to the day number 4 regarding the training session on the network pharmacology. So today I'll be going through the very basics of the network pharmacology and the workflow of the network pharmacology for the traditional medicine till the molecular docking level. And today I will not be able to discuss the molecular docking. Maybe during the next training sessions, we can cover docking studies as well. Today, I'll be focusing mainly on the network pharmacology. So, the topic of my talk is exploring traditional medicine through network pharmacology, a multi-target approach. So, why traditional medicine? Because first thing is everyone in the pharma field know how much time and effort and money is required to develop a drug from starting to the scratch to marketing. So it may take approximately 10 to 15 years with respect to time and few million of dollars with respect to money. So to minimize that, here comes the main hero of the story, network pharmacology. So for one drug, it is taking 10 to 15 years and multiple dollars of money. While coming to network pharmacology, what we can do is we just need to give the metabolites, and the software itself will give the data how the molecules which we have given will act on the body. And the main advantage is like when coming to the traditional pharmacology studies, what we see is in the pharmacological studies, at a time we can do only one mechanism of action. We can go with one by one mechanism of action. And disease wise, there are multiple diseases which human beings are getting affected. And for each disease, there are multiple modes of action for any drug. So if we choose a traditional medicine, traditional way of defining the activity of each metabolite of plant origin or marine origin or animal or any microbial species origin, if we take one molecule or one metabolite for actually determining the possible activities of that one particular metabolite, will lead us to consumption of many resources and as well as lot of time. So to minimize that, this network pharmacology plays a key major role. So, as the audience are vast from B Pharmacy, M Pharma, PhD scholars, and faculty, I'll be covering from the basics. So, coming to the pharmacology, as everyone knows, studying about the drug, how it acts on the body, and how body responds to the drug is called as pharmacology. But apart from that, we have various other branches also like posology, pharmacognosy, genetics, toxicology. Everything will comes under pharmacology. Pharmacokinetics, we already know what the drug does, what the body does to the body. Drug does is called as pharmacokinetics, where absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion comes into the picture. Pharmacodynamics, how the drugs acts on the body, is called as dynamics, which is nothing but the pharmacological activity. So this is the major point where the network pharmacology is coming into the picture, the pharmacodynamics, and also the toxicology. In the pathway of doing a network pharmacology of any number of metabolites or drugs, we can also assess the toxicity of the single drug or a group of drugs using the softwares. And pharmacogenetics also plays a major role, and pharmacognosy. So here we are interlinking the pharmacodynamics and the pharmacognosy in the today's session. And posology. Posology is nothing but the dosage, dose fixation. It depends upon the species and the disease and the LD50, ED50 values of the drug. So coming to the network pharmacology, what is network pharmacology? It is also an innovative approach in drug discovery and development that considers a complex interaction within biological systems rather than focusing only on individual drug target interaction. So whatever I have told previously, a traditional pharmacological study is the individual drug target interaction. We will take only one target, we will take only one drug, and we will see whether it is acting on this anti-cancer cell lines or the anti-cancer model in the rat or any other activity, or whether it is acting as an anti-inflammatory. So for each target interaction, we have to initially develop the disease model, whether that might be cancer or inflammation or bacterial infection, whatever the disease is, we have to initially develop the disease model and treat the disease with the drug, and that too not in a single dose. At 3 to multiple doses we have to treat, and then we will get to know at which dose it is giving activity or it is giving that respective activity or not. So initially, if I have tried with cancer model, so if the drug is not giving any response with respect to cancer, I will ignore the model and I will develop another model. I will develop inflammation and then treat inflammation. If the drug is giving good response, okay, I will write a paper like this drug is curing inflammation. Next, I will go to another model. So traditional pharmacology model is like individual drug target interaction. We will take one drug, we will check whether this drug is having that particular activity or not. So, but in network pharmacology, it is a complex interactions. Whatever the targets are there in our body, whether with respect to cancer, mechanisms or thyroid hormonal imbalance related or genetic or bacterial infections, viral fevers, whatever the targets are there, we will take one drug or a group of drugs and we will interact with all the targets which are present in the body, and we will get to know which are having the higher probability to interact with respect to that drug and the target. So this is called as network pharmacology. So it integrates systems biology, pharmacology, and computational biology to analyze how drugs affect entire networks of biological pathways and molecular interaction. So whatever the network pharmacology we are doing, that is not limited to only one target or one part of a body. So whatever the enzymes, proteins present all over the human system, each drug, whichever we are giving in the network, it will interact with all the possible mechanisms present in the human body. So we will get to know what is the mechanism of the drug and what is the drug, what are the diseases it can be cured. So one drug may not have only one activity, like paracetamol, whatever the over the counter drug we are using. So it has multiple actions. When we have headache, we take paracetamol. When we have fever, we take paracetamol. When we have body pains, we take paracetamol. So one drug is acting on different body parts and different diseases it is curing. So if you are going with individual drug target interactions, it consumes a lot of time, manpower, and money. But if we are opting with network pharmacology, what we can do is we will just take the paracetamol, we will interact with all the proteins, all the enzymes present in the body, and we'll get to know what are the sites paracetamol can bind to and what the role the respective sites are playing in our body biological system, so that we can also use this drug for those diseases as well. And we want network pharmacology data is not the ultimate conclusion data. Whatever the data we are getting from the network pharmacology, it should be validated by molecular docking also, or cell line study, or animal model. So that validation is required to conclude that whatever the data we have developed with the network pharmacology is robust and reliable and can be used for human research. So network pharmacology is not the new technique which is arising in 2024. Since 1999, it was there, but the terminology then was different. So in 1999, they have used traditional medicine syndrome are related to molecular docking. So for treating, say, traditional medicine and all, they used to do molecular networking for traditional medicine, but not this advanced level, only the basic level they used to do. Later in 2002, network regulation effects of traditional medicine prescription were evaluated using this network technique. And followed by in 2007, network-based drug discovery was first done in 2007. Before that, 2007, network pharmacology didn't play a major role for drug discovery, but the term network pharmacology was termed since 2007. And in 2015, mapped that explored target space and therapeutic potential of natural products. Since 2015, this is more used for therapeutic potential determination of the natural medicinal plants. And in the 2019, they use this from single drug target to synergistic network pharmacology, like paracetamol. So there are many other drugs which we are using, may have other mechanism of actions. Like in during COVID, we used hydroxychloroquine. Okay, previously it is used as anti-malarial agent, but during COVID, network pharmacology and molecular docking played a major role. So COVID was a season where we need to discover a drug for an unknown cause. We didn't knew the cause at that time, but later, after a few months, they have discovered the COVID virus and the structure. And later, what the scientists have done was they used this network pharmacology and molecular docking to identify the potential of previously available marketed drugs to treat the COVID. So whatever the drugs like hydroxychloroquine and all came into the picture after this background studies, which included network pharmacology and molecular docking as core aspects for rediscovering or repurposing of the drugs. So network pharmacology is not only playing major role for traditional medicine, but also for therapeutic repurposing of already marketed drugs. And in the year 2022, curing casual mechanism instead of treating symptoms. So for few diseases, and mainly the orphan diseases and rare diseases, we are not interested, and the market or the pharmaceutical companies are not focused on the rare diseases, because only 1% or less than 1% of the population of the entire world are affected by the rare diseases. And to cure that less than 1% of populating affecting the rare diseases, it includes, as I said, lot of time and $1 million. So what a scientist or a pharmaceutical company thinks is they all only need the profit along with the science. So they are not ready to invest so many dollars just to treat less than 1% of population affecting disease. So this network pharmacology also plays a role for repurposing of previously used drugs for treating the rarely occurring diseases rather than just treating the symptoms. Like in COVID also, they initially told like for fever, cough, and cold, they gave only paracetamol and all only for treating the symptoms. Later, this hydroxychloroquine and 2DG came into the picture, which is curing as per the mechanism, not curing the symptoms. So this is mean by the curing casual mechanism instead of treating symptoms. So this is the timeline of network pharmacology since 1999 to date. So coming to the basic terminology, before going into the complex networking, so we will go to the basic terminology. So hmm. So you can see the pointer. So this is called as node. Node is nothing but either the metabolite which we have chosen for network pharmacology, or the target for the disease which we are taken. That is called as node. And the second one is edge. Edge is nothing but the connection between the two nodes is called as edge. And activation. So if the edge is having arrow like this, so it is called as it activates the node, whatever the node is there. If the target means like any enzyme or receptor it is binding to, so that respective receptor or enzyme is getting activated. Repression means deactivation or suppression of that respective uh, enzyme or the protein. Degree is nothing but the number of connection a node has. So if you can see here, this yellow color node has many connections, means this node is playing a major role. And when coming to this node, the last red one, this node is having only one connection, means the probability of reacting with this node is very less. So the number of connection defines the probability and the effect of the protein in this respective network. Dis distance. Distance means the number of connection between nodes. So if this is one target and this is another target, so from this target to this target, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 number of nodes between this target and this target. Means the probability is less because the distance is more. As the distance is more, the probability will reduce. And path, sequence of connection. So whatever I have told you, this is called as path. From here to here is a path, and from here, from this node, there are multiple paths to connect to these nodes. Though, so this is called as path. The sequence of nodes which are arranged is called as path. So this is the basic terminology in network pharmacology. So coming to building a network. So there are mainly 11 steps in building a network. The 11th step is for validation. So initially, the first step involves the selection of compound or metabolites. So the left side are the processes which we do for building a network, and the right side are the softwares which usually use. These are the softwares. There are multiple softwares for each process, but these are the softwares. You can take a photo of this. So these softwares, all these softwares are free to use, and these are user friendly. There are other softwares for each steps, but few are free and few are based on subscription mode, and a few are complex, but these are user friendly and free. So you can follow these as well, or if you are familiar with any other softwares, you can go with that. So first one is a selection of compounds or metabolites. So traditional medicine. So we already know what is traditional medicine, and traditional medicine in India is still not completely explored. So whatever the tricks our ancestors used to treat stomach pains or chills, cold, cough, which they are telling us to use this combination like ginger, it may be garlic, clove, cinnamon. So all these are still unexplored. So till now, due to the lack of information with respect to network pharmacology, we used to take any of the tulsi or ginger or garlic, and we used to do one activity, and we used to publish like, okay, garlic is having anti-cancer activity. And in cancer also, few scientists will do respect to cancers, prostate cancer, colon cancer, etc. And again, one more researcher will come in the next year and he will tell like garlic is having anti-inflammatory properties. So for reporting one activity, they are taking years of time. But when coming to network pharmacology, simply within 1 month time, you can know all the activities of that respective plant. All we need to have is the metabolites of the plant, whatever the plant we are using in our local villages. So we just need to know about the metabolites. One thing you can do is for determining the metabolites, if you know the plant, there are few softwares where you can get the data of the plants, or you can do the LCMS, QTOF, GCMS analysis to find out the specific metabolites in the plants, and then go with the network pharmacology study. So whatever the background is, you just need to have the metabolites. So for this study, I have used impact software to get the metabolites of a respective plant, which is already well explored. So whatever the plant I have taken, the plant is well explored with respect to metabolites. So I have got the metabolites list from the impact software. And second one is whatever the metabolites are there, we have to collect the smiles. I have used PubChem for the collection of smiles. And for the metabolites, initially, I have determined the ADME parameters using the Swiss ADME, and determined the toxicity using Protox software. So after determining the toxicity, it doesn't mean like you have thousands of metabolites. So depending upon the toxicity, you can screen few metabolites which are highly toxic in nature, because even though the molecule may having pharmacological activity, but if it is highly toxic, then we can't go with the human studies or animal studies. So in this step, you can screen few metabolites depending upon its toxicity. Next one is target prediction. I have used Swiss target prediction for predicting the target. Here also you can screen few metabolites depending upon the probability. So the probability factor will be available on the software. Depending upon that, you can, we generally use 0.04 probability. Below the 0.04 probability, you can remove the metabolites which are having the target probability less than 0.04. So the list of metabolites will be going down. Then the selection of disease. So selection of disease, you can go in multiple ways. The general pathway which we use for the selection of disease is during target prediction in step 5. So we will get to know what are the metabolites reacting with the different enzymes or the transporters or the proteins present in our body. So depending upon the proteins on which this target is, these drugs or metabolites are interacting, we can select the disease. So if I get a list in which there are more G protein couple receptors or the proteins which are playing major role in cancer, so I will select cancer as my disease model. Or a few metabolites have a potential to interact with the neurotransmitters. They will alter the production and release of the neurotransmitters. Then I will select a neuro related disease, that may be neurodegenerative or ADHD model, or Alzheimer's kind of diseases. So selection of diseases can also be depending upon the target prediction data. Whatever the data we are getting from the target prediction, you can evaluate the targets which you have got, and from that you can screen the disease which you want to select. The next one is selection of common targets. So we have two data sets. One is the targets which the metabolite will bind to, and the second one, the selection of disease. So in cancer, if suppose I have taken cancer, so in cancer, what are the receptors and enzymes playing a major role? So I will combine this step 5 and step 6. I will overlay step 5 and step 6, and I will get to know what are the common targets in 5 and 6. So the step 7 is like comparing 5 and 6 and considering the targets which are common in step 5 and step 6, and protein-protein interaction. So whatever the common targets are found in step 5 and step 6, we will take them for the protein-protein interaction. And the disease pathway, we will find this disease pathway by using KEGG analysis. From the KEGG, what is the exact pathway the metabolites which we have taken are interfering with that respective disease, at what stage they are interfering, in what pathway they are interfering, whether they are inhibiting the pathway or activating the pathway. We will get that information from KEGG analysis. And networking, we use Cytoscape to evaluate the network of your metabolites and also the targets. And finally, we will confirm this either with docking or molecular docking studies or cell line studies or animal models to evaluate whatever the data we have got from networking is reliable or not. So starting with the first step, if you have laptops, you can try with your own laptops also. Step 1, selection of plants and its metabolites. So here I have selected the plant Tulsi, which is already well known. So you can take whatever the plant you have heard about in your rural areas, and you can try to get the phytochemicals, which are nothing but the metabolites of that plant. So here I have used the Impact software. Impact software is a plant-based software where you can get the phytochemicals and also the therapeutic use of that respective plant which you have selected. So from this, you can select this option for phytochemicals. So in this step, I am taking Tulsi as my target plant, and I am going to take the list of the metabolites present in this plant. So after selecting the option phytochemical, you will get a window like this where you just need to give the input of your plant, either the common name or the scientific name you can give. So here I will get the list of the metabolites. You can see the plant scientific name is here. The part where the metabolite is there is also available. So all metabolites are not distributed all over the plant. So few metabolites will be present only in the fruits, few will be present only in the leaves. So you can also get the aerial part, and you can screen from here also. Depending upon your study, you can take either aerial part of the plant, whole plant, or only the root. If you take with ginger, we will consider only the root part or metabolites only, not the aerial part. So likewise, depending upon your study, you can select which part of the plant you are interested, and the metabolites present in that respective part only need to be considered. So here I have got 1269 metabolites of this respective plant which I have selected. So these metabolites you just need to copy paste in an Excel. All these metabolites, total 1216 metabolites, you just need to copy paste in an Excel sheet. Step 2 is collection of smiles. Smiles, you can just collect it from PubChem, or if in PubChem the smiles are not available, you can use ChemDraw for generating the smiles if it is not available on the internet. So using PubChem, you just need to enter the chemical name of your metabolite, and if you scroll down below, you will get the smiles. So these are just the short form of your chemical structure, whatever the metabolite is. You just need to copy each individual smiles of all the 1269 metabolites, whatever you have copied. So your Excel will be looking like this. So number of metabolites, what is the name of the metabolite, and what are the smiles. This is the primary data which you should be having which you should be having for networking. Next step is toxicity prediction. Here I have used Protox software for the toxicity prediction. So whatever the smiles you have generated, you just need to copy individual smiles. The first one is pronuciferin. So I have taken the smiles of this pronuciferin. I just copied here. The structure will automatically generate in the Protox software, and below that you will get an option. So if you are looking for any specific toxicity, you can just highlight that respective toxicity, or else you can select all and you just start the toxicity prediction. You will get two data. One is this data from the software. Here you will get the LD50 value. The higher the LD50 value, the safer the drug can be used. So this is the toxicity scale from 1 to 6. 1, which means like it is highly toxic, and 6 is safe to use. So whatever the drug which I have taken is coming under class 4, means it is toxic but not very severely toxic. And from looking the data of LD50 value, which is 1190 mg per kg body weight, means the higher the dose, the safer the molecule is. So this molecule can be considered for next network generation. So if the molecule comes under 1 or 2, it would be better if you ignore the molecules which are coming with the toxicity class of 1 or 2 and sometimes 3 if the LD50 is too less. So the second data which we'll be getting for toxicity prediction is this, where we can get the individual organ toxicity and the types of toxicity, whether it may be hepatotoxic, neuro, nephro, carcinogenic, whatever it may be. So everything we can get here. So if the prediction is in red color, means it is toxic with respect to that particular body or organ. So here, most of the data resembles that it is safe to use. So this molecule we can consider for further analysis. So similarly, I have shown for one molecule. Similarly, you have to do for all the 1269 metabolites which we have chosen from the impact software. So the next one is ADME prediction. So, unlike the Protox software, in Protox software, for determining the toxicity, you should. Can you please mute Mr. Abhijit Pandey? Okay. Okay, in Protox software, in each individual smiles, you have to copy, paste, and get the toxicity data. And the toxicity data, you have to save it as an Excel, as I have previously showed for the smiles. But for coming to ADMD prediction, you can copy the smiles all together and run to get the ADME parameters. This ADME prediction will be useful for formulation, mainly for the formulation. So here you can see how the physicochemical properties, lipophilicity, the water solubility, pharmacokinetics, drug likeliness of the respective molecule. So all the smiles which you have copied previously will be displayed here molecule wise. So for the first molecule, these are the ADME parameters. So when you are going for any animal study, or if you are going further for developing a formulation of this respective metabolite or extract, these parameters will play a major role. So depending upon this, you will get to know whether it is crossing blood-brain barrier, or it is having good absorption and all. So depending upon that, you can develop a formulation. And for animal studies also, from this data, you will get to know whether GI absorption is less or high. So if the GI absorption is less, depending upon that, you have to modify the formulation so that it will be absorbed from the GIT.
I joined the meeting, but I don't know what happened. The internet went down.
Fine.
I started it here. పోయింది వెంటనే మళ్ళీ.
So the next step after ADME prediction is target prediction. So here I have used the software Swiss target prediction, where similar to the Protox software, you have to copy each of the smiles and you can predict the targets. So whichever the data initially have shown in the Excel, that is the major data which you required for the developing a network. So if you have that data with you, you can do whatever the studies you want. You can determine the toxicity, you can determine the ADME parameters, you can determine the targets. For all these data generation, you just need the list of metabolites and the smiles. That is the core data which you required for network pharmacology. So after giving the input of your smileys, you will be getting the prediction like this. So whatever the smile I have given, that respective molecule will be binding to these many targets. So these are the targets susceptible for the binding with that respective molecule which I have given. And here we will be getting the probability also. So you just need to download this data and save it in an Excel form. So these are all the targets. These are the targets which will be interacting with the drug molecule which we have taken in the previous slide. So this is the Excel we'll be getting. So this is the first molecule which I have taken. These are the list of the targets which I have got with the probability above 0.04. And these are the common names of the these receptors. So in network, we won't consider the entire full name of the target. We will just use the common name or uniport ID of the respective targets. So in the next step, first data what we have got is the targets. Targets means the molecule which we have taken in the previous slide. That molecule will be interacting with few of the targets in our body. So we have the previous list. So this is the Excel. So this data, these are the targets which will be having a probability will bind to this molecule. So this is the disease. So from the targets which I have got, I came to know like major targets are related to the cancer disease. Whatever the enzymes or the proteins which I have got in the previous Excel, those are related to the cancer pathways. So I have selected the cancer disease model for doing a network. So I am using GeneCard software to get the data of the targets which are responsible for the cancer, curing cancer. So in this software GeneCards, you just need to type the disease which you want for your network. Means whatever the molecules which you have taken, those will interact with this respective disease causing or disease curing targets, and then we will get to know what is the probability of your molecules with respect to these receptors. So for cancer, we have got these many possibilities. Here you can see 30,553 gene types are there. These, if you are able to target these, you can cure the cancer. So whatever the metabolites which we are having, so if they have a probability to bind to these receptors, so they might be having a probability to cure the cancer. So you just need to save all this Excel where you are having the results of 30,553 genes or the proteins which are causing cancer, or these are the mechanism of action which we need to target for curing a cancer, whether you might be developing or synthesizing a molecule or might be a plant metabolite. If they are able, if the metabolite is able to bind to this any of these genes, they might be having probability to cure the disease. And yes, in this step, we will be overlaying. So whatever Tulsi I have taken, initially we have got an data set of targets. So these are the targets, 390 targets we have got, where these are binding to the metabolites. And these are the targets from cancer. So 30,554. Previously, these we have got from GeneCards. and this we have got from the Swiss target prediction. So we will overlap these two in the Venn software. This is called as Venn diagram. So these are the metabolites which are present in Tulsi in blue color, and yellow ones are the metabolites which are not the metabolites. These are the targets for curing a cancer. So out of 30,554 metabolites, 364 metabolites are common in Tulsi and cancer. So whatever the Tulsi plant I have taken, out of the 1269 metabolites, all the 1269 metabolites were binding to 390 targets. So these 390 targets, when overlapped with this cancer causing targets, there are 364 common targets in both cancer and the targets which we have got from the metabolite data. So from here, we will be consider only these 364 metabolites or the targets. So these targets now we don't require. Remaining 30,190 targets, we won't consider these, and these remaining 26 targets, we won't consider this. For constructing a network, we will be going further with this 364 targets from this Venn software. So before going into the next step, I just want to introduce you to this terminology, KEGG and GEO. So KEGG is nothing but the Kyoto Encyclopedia of Genes and Genomics. Like Wikipedia, this is like a Wikipedia kind of thing, which consists of all kinds of genomic information which is present on this earth. So we will be using this software for determining the pathway of our disease, the KEGG software. And coming to the gene ontology, GO is a framework used to describe the functions of genes. So whatever the genes present in our human body are divided into three classes. Like in your college, your entire college is divided into an organogram. Like initially you will be having a principal or director. Under him, you will be having vice principal or associate director, and under him, he will be having the all HODs, and in each individual HOD, that respective faculty will be there. So that is the organogram of your organization or college. Similarly, whatever the genes present in the human body, they are divided into three classes that are biological process, molecular function, and cellular component. So the whatever the pathways or the genes which are involved for maintaining the biological process of a human body will categorize into the biological process. And molecular function, what a gene product does at the biochemical level, such as binding to chemicals or macromolecules or catalyzing reactions, those kind of genes are categorized under molecular function. And cellular components describes the location of a gene product within cellular structure and macromolecular complexes, as well as the extracellular environment. So the genes which play a major role with cell structure and cell functioning, these are categorized under cellular component. So when the metabolites are interacting with the targets in our body, so whatever the target is, the target will comes under within these three subclasses of the genes, either the biological process BP, molecular function MF, or cellular component CC. So whatever the target might be, it might be falling under these three components only. So depending upon these three components, the network can be subcategorized, that I will show in the future slides. So this is the enrichment analysis, which is nothing but the KEGG, whatever I have discussed in the previous slide, the KEGG analysis, molecular function MF, biological process BP, and cellular component CC. So this data we will getting from the software David. So in the David software, we will just copy paste the 360 common targets which we have got from the Venn software. So you just need to copy paste the targets from the Venn software, and we just need to select this gene ontology. From this gene ontology, we will get to know what are the other mechanism of action this metabolites or the plant extract you might be having. Though I have selected only the cancer disease by using the gene cards, apart from the cancer, the same molecule will cure many other diseases. So from this David software, we can also know that apart from cancer, what are the other diseases it can be cured. So you can see here the probability index is also there, and the other mechanisms which the molecule can exhibit is also present here. So from this, we can also use this molecule to cure multiple diseases, not only one. So this is the use of enrichment analysis, which is nothing but we are enriching the already presented data by using different gene ontology techniques to know the other mechanism of actions apart from the disease which we have selected previously. So this is the KEGG pathway analysis. This also we can get from here. Pathway analysis, you just need to go to this pathway analysis and we will get this KEGG pathway analysis. As I have previously said, the KEGG pathway will give the data. As I have selected the cancer, these are the pathways which are involved in causing or curing the cancer. So either activation of this or deactivation of these pathways will kill the cancer or increase the progression of the cancer. So this red color indicates the targets where our molecule is going to act. So from KEGG pathway analysis, we will know where in the pathway our metabolites are exactly binding to the target for causing a activity. So this is the data we'll be getting from KEGG pathway and the pathway involved. So sometimes this pathway also not only involved in cancer, many other diseases may be involved. So blocking or activation of one pathway can also cure one or more diseases. So from this enrichment analysis and KEGG pathway, we can also know the repurposing of the drug or the metabolite which we have taken. So we already have the data. So the common targets we have from Venn diagram, we came to know that we have metabolites from impact and the metabolites which may have the probability of binding to certain targets, around 300 targets we have got from the Venn. So for building a network, we need to use Cytoscape. And till now, we have used Smiles for generating the data. But Cytoscape cannot use Smiles for generating the network. So for generating network in the Cytoscape, we use Sting software just to modify the data and undergo the protein-protein interactions. So here we just need to, in the Sting software, we just need to select this multiple proteins and we have to just copy paste the 300 metabolites, 300 targets which we have got from the Venn and select the species as Homo sapiens and run. So Sting software will give the network like this. Initially in the basic terminology, whatever we have learned. So these are the nodes, nothing but the targets. These are the edges, the connection between the nodes, which are called as edges. And the distance, if you consider any of this one node to the other node, now we can't see it clearly, but by using Cytoscape, we can order this as per the number of nodes and the edges. So this data, we just need to save this data as this option will be available in the Sting software where you can download this data which is suitable for Cytoscape. So here we have just uploaded the 300 metabolites in the Sting software. We have got a network. This network is having the overall data of the nodes and edges, but we don't need 300 metabolite, 300 targets. So our metabolite, whatever we have taken, suppose Tulsi plant I have taken, the Tulsi plant has capability to bind to this 300 targets, but it will not bind with same probability to the same 300 targets. It may be having high probability towards one target and least probability towards the other target. So the probability, to determine the probability, we should use this data for analyzing through the Cytoscape. From the Cytoscape, we will get to know what are the nodes which having higher degree, which initially we have learned in the basic terminology. The highest degree we will getting in the software Cytoscape. So we just need to download this. And yes, the same network we can upload in the Cytoscape. So this is the data we will be getting from the Cytoscape. Cytoscape is also is free software, but you have to install it in your PCs. The softwares which I have used till now are free and you can use online, but Cytoscape you can't use it online. You just need to download, but it is free to use. So these are the metabolites which we have got, but depending upon the degree, we can choose. So all the 300 metabolites we don't need. So only top 10 metabolites we can take, means top 10 targets we can take depending upon the degree. As previously discussed, degree means the number of connections each target is having. So the more connection the target is having means the probability of binding to that target will be higher. So we can choose only top 10, and here we will be getting the top 10 metabolites. So for metabolites and targets, we can use the same Cytoscape software. So this is metabolites which we have taken initially, and these are the targets. From Sting software, we have got same kind of connections here. And here also, after screening top 10, depending upon the degree, so we'll get top 10 targets. So in the previous slide, so these are the top 10 metabolites we have got. These are the metabolites from the plant which we have taken. And these are the 10 targets of the disease. So I have taken the cancer as my disease. So these are the top 10 targets. So now I have to know the interaction between the metabolites, 10 metabolites which I have got, and these 10 targets which I have got. So if I do for that interaction, we need to use the molecular docking software where we will get the docking score and all. So depending upon the docking score, we will get to know the mechanism of action. And from this, we are sure that this molecule is having anti-cancer activity. So irrespective of mechanism of action, you can directly go with the cell line study with a certain dose, initially determining the activity followed by the dose. So you just need some cancer cell lines, and you can treat the cancer cell lines with this respective extract, whatever you have taken. After proving that this activity, what we have concluded from the network pharmacology, is also repeatable in the cell line study, you can further interact each molecule with each target through the docking studies, and you will get to know the mechanism of action. So the same mechanism of action you can be proved in the cell line study or animal models as well. So here is one of the case study where they have taken lavender plants, they have done the hydrodistillation, collected the sample, and they have done the LCMS analysis for the determination of metabolites. So in my case, what I have done is I have already taken the plant for which the metabolite analysis has done, and the literature may not be present for cancer, or even the literature is present, the molecular mechanism may not be studied properly. So those kind of analysis can also be done. So here what they have done is they have taken the extract of this lavender plant and they have determined the metabolites using the spectrometry. So from that, they have taken the metabolites, and similarly, like our network pharmacology study, they have taken the Venni, and followed by they have constructed the network and also performed the KEGG analysis and gene ontology study. And further, they have confirmed with both molecular docking study also as protein expression using cell lines. So this is one of the case study, and this is second case study where they have taken capsules. So these capsules are plant-based capsules, Ayurvedic kind of capsules. So for these capsules, they have evaluated the hyperlipidemic study. So for this, they have taken the metabolites, they have used some different software, and from Drug Bank and Uniport, they have got the SMILES and all. They have also used gene cards for considering the disease and the genes related to disease. And using the Venni software, they have overlapped both the data. This is the metabolite data, this is the targets. So they have taken targets from gene cards and CTD, and the SMILES of the metabolites from Drug Bank and Uniport. So they have overlapped the targets, and they have taken this 138 targets for further next network connection, and they have constructed the network followed by SIM, the cake pathway, and gene ontology. And this they have validated using the experimental studies. So if you are having any plant from your rural area, you can take that plant and you can do the network pharmacology if you're having the metabolite data. And if you're not having the list of metabolites, you can go with the LCMS study, get a list of metabolites, and you can perform the network pharmacology data. And many other Ayurvedic formulations are present in the market where the mechanism of action is entirely unknown. So there are multiple Ayurvedic formulations in India available. So there is a huge scope for traditional medicine and network pharmacology work, because most of the formulations in Ayurveda are uh, lacking the mechanism of action. So what you can do is you can just take the list of the Ayurvedic formulations and the constituents of the formulation you can list out, and you can get from the literature what are the metabolites are present. You can just make a list of the metabolites. You can get the smiles, or using ChemDraw you can generate the smiles if you know the structure, and followed by network pharmacology you will get a network. And using docking you can validate it, or if possible you can go with cell line study for docking. So this is the end of today's presentation. If anyone is having any queries, you can ask me.
Participants can unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. It's a wonderful session for me, ma'am. So
Thank
understand
you.
what is the basic level of the network pharmacology and the herbal medicines. Ma'am, my question is that if I am not getting the LCMS data related to the particular isolated compound, if you
Okay.
simply extract the by using the extract simply run on the LCMS, but
Okay.
not getting the particular metabolite data. So it is
Okay.
possible to identify another method to identify a compound or a isolated compound by the using this type of technique or a technology.
Means like, sir, to identify the metabolite or the activity causing by the metabolite.
Both,
So for
both,
the
madam. Both, both.
okay. So your LCMS data is not proper, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what kind of LCMS you have done? Only LCMS or LCMS-MS?
LCMS, ma'am, only.
Okay. Only the
Because, ma'am,
untargeted one.
yes, ma'am, because the library is not available, ma'am.
So if the library is not available, sir, first thing you can do is the Metlin software. So if you're using an Agilent system, it is a free software, free library present, which is called as Metlin library. Second thing which you can do is you already know the scientific name of the plant, you know the species, and you know the genus. You just go to the literature, you just find the other plants for which metabolites of this genus or species are available. You can make a library of those metabolites, and you can search those metabolites in your plants as well.
Okay, ma'am, we can also check the mass charge ratio or molecular weight of a particular metabolite, ma'am, or isolated
Yes,
compound.
yes, sir. In LCMS, it is possible. You can check the exact mass also. If the mass is matching, you can do the LCMS so that you can know the fragments. And many softwares are present where if you give the molecular name, the literature fragments are also present. So if the fragments which you have got from your LCMS is matching with the literature, it confirms that the same molecule is present in your extract.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So, yeah, in comment section, I have got few questions. What are the difference between metabolites and chemical constituents, or both the same? Yes, both are same. It depends upon the using terminology. We most probably we use metabolites. Previously, we used to use chemical constituents, but nowadays the term has been replaced with metabolites, but both are same with respect to plant metabolomics. How we investigate unknown phytochemicals via network pharmacology. So if the chemical constituents are unknown, we can't proceed with network pharmacology. As you have seen in my presentation, for the network construction, the primary data which we have used in 50% of the software is the list of metabolites and the SMILES of that respective metabolites. So if you're not having the data of metabolites, we can't construct a network. And for metabolites, from literature, we can get a number of metabolites. Is it only for single metabolites? No, no. So whatever network I have performed, initially I have shown in the impact software 1260 plus metabolites. So for all the 1200 metabolites, if you want to construct, you can use. So while predicting the toxicity and ADME, you can screen few metabolites, but remaining metabolites you can use for overall networking. Out of all the metabolites, in the last step in the cytoscape, we will take only the top 10 metabolites which are having high probability towards that respective targets. These steps are valid for drug repurpose, or we have to add some extra steps. With respect to network pharmacology, this is the workflow which we use. For, whether it may be repurposing or for therapy, traditional medicine, we can use the same steps. But these need to be validated either by molecular docking study or by cell line study or animal model. So without any animal model, we can't conclude like it is having 100% this activity. So ultimately, you have to confirm with the animal model or at least cell line study. Is it possible to publish paper without experimental validation or network pharmacology? Yeah, followed by network pharmacology, you can do this molecular docking studies. So if you're familiar with molecular docking, within 2 weeks, you can get the data using molecular docking studies. And with network pharmacology data and molecular docking data, you can publish a good paper with good impact. If you have to work on certain plant part, then we have to take whole database from impact or to select certain part. So in impact, as I have shown, the plant part also they are mentioning whether it is present in aerial part or leaf or stem, root, flower, fruit. So if you are interested in any of the only one, few cases we will consume only the fruit. Few cases we will consume only the leaves. In that case, if you want to go with only the leaf or the fruit part, you can take the metabolites which are present only in that respective part and construct the network. Can you please explain how to identify the top target gene based on degree centrality? Okay. So the genes which we have taken first screening will be in the Venni software. In Venni software, the two circles, the blue one and the yellow one overlapping. So from there, we will screen most of the targets. We will get only 3 to 500 targets from Venni. So that from 3 to 500 in the Cytoscape software, as I have shown, depending upon the degree, I will show it. I'll show it once again.
Ma'am, please mute yourself. Revati ma'am, please mute yourself.
So here, as I have discussed, the degree, number of connections a node has. So this node has many connections. So depending upon the degree, here, depending upon that degree, in this Cytoscape software, you can list the top 10 or top 20. Here I have taken only top 10. If you are interested, you can take top 20 also, top 30 also, depending upon the degree. So from Venni software, we have got approximately 360 targets. So from the 360 targets, depending upon the degree, I am screening only the top 10. If you are interested, you can go with top 20 or top 30 also. So this is the main screening which we use in Cytoscape. What in case of any synthetic drugs? So in synthetic drug also the workflow is same. So in the initial Excel where I have shown the list of metabolites and smiles, here we are here as I am telling you about traditional medicine, I have listed the metabolites present in one respective plant that is called tulsi. So if you are having any synthetic drugs, you can enlist the drugs, similar class of drug, maybe antiviral drug or any antibacterial drugs. You can take 10 to 15 drugs, you can take those smileys and the work process will be the same. Which softwares to be used for molecular docking analysis? There are various softwares, free versions are also available. You can drop me an email. I can let you know the softwares which I have used for molecular docking. Most of them are free to use. RStudio, Discovery Studio. Can you tell me the name of few journals who publish paper of network with docking? This I have to look it once again because since few couple of months we are not publishing in network pharmacology related work. We are focusing on phytometabolomics and all. So I have to get back to you later for this answer. Can you please explain again that how to filter metabolites in toxicity predictor? So in toxicity, as I have shown, Protox software, you will get the degree. So in the Protox software, here you will be getting the scale 1 to 6. So if your molecule falls under 1 to 2, it is already highly toxic. So this metabolite I will ignore. Out of 1200 metabolite, if I am getting the toxicity of 1, in the Excel which I am having, I will delete this metabolite. I will not consider this metabolite for further analysis. So here as the LD value is higher, 100 and 190 mg per kg body weight, this much we can dose per a kg body weight, means this is not highly toxic and it is falling under 4 in the toxicity scale. So I can consider this molecule. If the molecule is falling under the scale 1 or 2, I will not consider this molecule for further analysis. I will delete the molecule from the Excel in this step itself. Any other question you can please ask me. Okay, I'll drop my email. So this is my email, bvsprasannaraila@gmail.com. So if you have any further questions, you can drop an email as well, or I'm ready to answer them now as well.
Ma'am, we have one more question in the chat box.
Which question, sir? Which question I'm missing?
Which plant we have to work on?
Plant. Okay. With respect to plant, there are multiple options. First is like go to your surroundings, go to your nanny's, grandmother, grandfather's village, and you just be with the old people or the traditional medicine practicing people. You can just talk with them and you will get to know what are the plants they are using for preparing the traditional medicine. So for local people for treating diseases like any skin related issues, skin allergies or fevers, stomach pains and all, you can be with them and you will get the basic information from the surroundings which plant you are means they are using for treating any respective diseases. That is one thing. And second thing, as previously I told, whatever the Ayurvedic formulations in Google, you can get many Ayurvedic formulations which are used in India. So all the Ayurvedic formulations will not be having any mechanism of action. So you can take those Ayurvedic formulation. Behind every Ayurvedic formulation, you will be having the content, whatever the Ayurvedic formulation is. So from that content list, you will get to know what are the plants they have used for preparing this Ayurvedic formulation. So you just need to know the plant name, and by using the impact software, you will get to know what are the metabolites that plant is having, and the remaining pathway is same for the network construction. So these are the two ways you can go. And the third one is you can go with the literature. Recently published papers where they have done only the LCMS part. So most of analytical people, what they do is they take certain plants and they do the LCMS study, and they will report the metabolites, and they will report certain activity, either antioxidant activity, cancer, or anti-diabetic. Any one or two activities they will report, and they will report the all the metabolites which they have concluded or confirmed through their LCMS analysis. So you can take that data and draw the network, and you will get to know, other than the activities reported by that respective scientist, what are the other activities possible. So these are the three ways you can work to select a plant.
Any other questions from the participants?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. It was a
Good
wonderful
afternoon.
session.
Thank you.
Myself, Soundarya. I'm actually
Okay.
working on vaccines. That's the cancer-related drug. So if I have to consider the network pharmacology of it, should I consider all the drugs which comes under the category of vaccines?
Yes, you can consider that, because the more metabolites you are considering, the more pathways you will explore, and the more activities you will get to know. So all the toxins may or may not have same mechanism of action. So each drug may have multiple mechanism of actions, like metformin. Metformin has 2 to 3 mechanism of actions. Likewise, same group of drugs may or may not have same kind of actions. So you can take multiple drugs for this networking. That will be more reliable and more data driven.
Any other questions from the participants? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. From my personal side, I have one question, one
Yes,
query.
sir. Yes,
We
sir.
are discussing about the traditional medicine. Our traditional medicines, like formulations, we use more than one plant together, right?
Yes, sir.
So, for example, if one plant is having anti-cancer activity and the other one is having some anti-inflammatory activity,
Yes, sir.
now is it possible to know the synergistic effect of the formulation using network pharmacology?
Yes, sir. To identify the synergistic activity, we have to take the whatever the Ayurvedic formulation we are having. Suppose consider like 4 plants are there. So we have to construct the network for the 4 plants individually. Then only we will get to know the synergistic effect. If you are combining all the 4 plants metabolites together and constructing a network, we will not be able to identify the synergistic activity. But if you construct the network individually, we will get to know whether they are having synergistic activity or having multiple activities because of 4 plants combined together in single formulation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Any other questions from the participant side? Yes, ma'am. There are no questions, I believe. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation. You started very well with the introduction, the basic things about network pharmacology, the nodes, the connections, the distance, the closeness, everything you have dealt in detail. And I'm sure that all the participants have gained enough knowledge and they are ready to start their research work on network pharmacology. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable time and spending valuable time, especially on discussion and addressing the questions from the audience. As a token of appreciation, let me share my screen. Is it visible, ma'am? Please
Yes, sir.
confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable time. And
Thank you, sir.
we appreciate your time and we look forward for more collaboration with you in future.
Sure, sir. I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Ma'am.
sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.